The Scarlet Ibis, James Hurst. It was in the clove of seasons. Summer was dead, but autumn had not yet been born, that the ibis lit in the bleeding tree. The flower garden was strained with rotting brown magnolia petals, and iron reeds grew rank amid the purple phlox. The 5 o'clocks by the chimney still marked time, but the oriole nest in the elm was untenanted and rocked back and forth like an empty cradle. The last graveyard flowers were blooming, and their smell drifted across the cotton field and through every room of our house, speaking softly the names of our dead. It's strange that all this is so clear to me, now that summer has long since fled and the time has had its way. A grindstone stands where the bleeding tree stood, just outside the kitchen door, and now, if an oriole sings in the elm, its song seems to die up in the leaves, a silvery dust. The flower garden is prim, the house a gleaming white, and the pale fence across the yard stands straight and spruce. But sometimes, like right now, as I sit in the cool, green-draped parlor, the grindstone begins to turn, and in time with all its changes is ground away, and I remember Doodle. Doodle was just about the craziest brother a boy ever had. Of course, he wasn't crazy like Miss Leedy. She was in love with President Wilson and wrote him a letter every day, but was a nice crazy, like someone you meet in your dreams. He was born when I was 6 and was from the outset a disappointment. He seemed all head, with a tiny body, which was red and shriveled like an old man's. Everyone thought he was going to die, everybody except Aunt Nicey, who had delivered him. She said he would live because he was born in a cowl, and cowls were made from Jesus' nightgown. Daddy had Mr. Heath the carpenter build a little mahogany coffin for him, but he didn't die. And when he was 3 years old, Mama and Daddy decided they might as well name him. They named him William Armstrong, which is like tying a big old tail on a small kite. Such a name sounds good, only on a tombstone. I thought myself pretty smart at many things, like holding my breath, running, jumping, and climbing the vines in Old Woman Swamp. And I wanted more than anything else someone to race to Horsehead Landing, someone to box with, and someone to perch with in the top fork of the great pine behind the barn, where across the fields and the swamps you could see the sea. I wanted a brother, but Mama, crying, told me that even if William Armstrong lived, he would never do these things with me. He might not, she sobbed, even be all there. He might, as long as he lived, lie on a rubber sheet in the center of the bed in the front bedroom, where the white marquisette curtains billowed out in the afternoon sea breeze, rustling like palmetto fronds. It was bad enough having an invalid brother, but having one who possibly was not all there was unbearable. So I began to make plans to kill him by smothering him with a pillow. However, one afternoon as I watched him, my head poked between the iron posts of the foot of the bed. He looked straight at me and grinned. I skipped through the rooms, down the echoing halls, shouting, "Mama!" He smiled. "He's all there. He's all there." And he was.